Hello, and welcome to my channel. The other day I was listening to a very interesting podcast that I found absolutely enlightening by Joseph Goldstein in the Inside Hour, and he was talking about working with fear. And funny enough, the same day or the day before, the day after, I finished The Naked Sun, and there's this mention to the fear of fear as well. So I thought it was quite a sign for me to try to wrap this up and bring it on here. So first of all, to establish that we have this natural inclination to the pleasant and aversion to the unpleasant. And in meditation, we have we observe the impermanence of things, of phenomena, of feelings or sensations, thoughts. We see them come and go, but this flow can be interrupted by this fear of fear or by fear itself. And the thing is that when we are observing the boundaries of our comfort zone, you can as well see that when we are approaching the edges of those boundaries, the mind begins to get afraid. And this can include a whole range of things like difficult emotions or psychological states, fear of change, fear of pain. And all these states, the thing is that are part of our life, is a truth. So then it means that the fear actually is fear of what is true. And the aim is practice with these. So we broaden our edges until there are no edges. Simple as that. And the thing is that how can we approach this? First of all, we need to recognize what is that we are afraid of, what is that is limiting us. So then we can explore the possibility to go beyond those limits. And then as well, we need to recognize the nature of fear itself. What is the mind state when we are having fear? So we understand the feeling. So what kind of things limits us? For example, physical pain. Obviously, we don't like to have physical pain. It's unpleasant. And the thing is that because of that, we become fearful and distressed experiencing pain. And it's interesting to see how it manifests when it arises. For example, when you're sitting in meditation, you can see all these times in which you have a slight uncomfortable position or muscle or whatever, and you do this slight move to avoid the discomfort. And in the Buddha teachings, they say that movement masks dukkha, and dukkha is precisely suffering. So it's interesting as a practice to observe in our daily activities which are the ones that we do in order to mask this suffering. And one of the things that the body does when it feels pain is to contract, as in to try to endure it, to push it away instead of opening to it, which is not a very successful strategy because that contraction actually creates more tension and more pain. And then there is as well this fear of anticipated pain. So the pain you may be feeling is within your boundaries of comfort, of like you can handle it. But then you begin thinking on if this is how it is now, how will it be in 20 minutes or in 5 minutes, or is this other problem, is maybe this is, and you begin to play all this movie in your head, and that gives you the fear of that anticipated pain. And instead of trying to keep that out, is there any way that we can let it in, that we can give ourselves the freedom to feel it? And then is this just in case mind that he mentions, and he uses a brilliant example because we I'm pretty sure we have all gone through that. And it's when you are eating and you're full, but you eat more just in case later you may be hungry. Or another example that I think it also has happened to us all is like when you're about to leave your home and you're going to have a wee before leaving, just in case you have the need to pee later. And so, how many things do we do in our day that is to mask, to avoid this fear of an unpleasant feeling? And then as well, the when we have physical pain, the mind gets really fixated on it, really focused. It's just that strong feeling for the mind. It gets so fixated on trying to avoid it. And it's interesting to practice, even if it's in short periods, when we begin experiencing this, to observe the mind. What is the mind doing? Is it tightening? Is it feeling anticipated fear? Or what is that is going on? And then you can think, can I instead relax into this, or letting this in? And this also kind of helps us to deepen our awareness on the selfless nature, on the impermanent selfless nature, which are the things that we don't have control of. Because the things that happen, everything that is outside us, we cannot control. And even if we are feeling any kind of pain, we cannot control the pain per se, but we can control how we react to it. Buddha used to say to the people that were ill or about to die with increasing pain, even one is afflicted in body, can one remain unafflicted in mind? So practicing this is teaching the body that we have a different way of tackling the fear, that we can let them in instead of constantly trying to push it out. And then as well, this awareness of fear, it gives us the space to unwind all the tensions of the body that is stored in body, in the body. So you have to think as well that pain can be as well a result of actually this releasing of tension. But there's kind of a catch in here, because you cannot make this releasing, this unwinding your aim, because then it becomes desire, and actually it means that you are having this aversion to the tension, that you are observing it just with the goal in mind of pushing it away. So the thing is to let yourself be with it, observe it, let it be there, just look at it. And obviously there's this fear that we can have as well to emotions, to feelings, to images, to past events, and we try to keep them away, right? And there's this sentence that Carl Jung said that is very interesting and reads like this: one does not become enlightened by imagining figures of light, but making the darkness conscious. And the thing is that the fear and not accepting parts of ourselves, these emotions which are a part of ourselves, it makes us fragmented. And how many things we do or don't do because of the fear, like not taking risks for fear of failure, or staying in an unhappy relation for fear of loneliness, or doing something even if it's kind of a waste of a time, like strolling mindlessly on social media just to avoid boredom. So that's obviously not a very good motivation for us to do or not do things. The fear is, it kind of removes the freedom for from us. And another thing that is interesting is to think that in our practice, formal meditation, mindfulness, whatever practice that you're doing, you don't have to be going through all these storm for you to evolve. It's kind of just let it be organically, and in the moment in the moment that arises, then is when you observe it and practice with it. So then as well, there is this fear of impermanence, the fear of change. So as in the Buddha teachings, they keep repeating, or at least Joseph Goldstein keeps repeating, is whatever has the nature to arises will also pass away. And that is another truth. I mean, nothing is permanent. Even that we want to, for things to stay the same, everything changes. So this grasping, holding onto that we have of relations or sensations or happiness, even health and youth, is not happening because everything is impermanent. So yeah, all these feelings keeps us from opening, and we need to practice recognizing this fear and be mindful and opening our mind to it. And it means to reach that point of acceptance, not in order for it to go away, but to accept it, even if that painful feeling, it would to stay our whole lives, is to accept it as it is and be with it and broadening our limits with it. And then when we reach this point, fear is meant to become like any other mind state. So it will arise and pass away like any other emotion or feeling or thought or sensation. And we no longer need to fear the fear. We develop the courage. And as Nelson Mandela used to say, courage is not the absence of fear, but the triumph over it. The brave man is not he who does not feel afraid, but he who conquers that fear. So the courage means willing to act despite the fear. And it's actually the ultimate virtue, because whatever we want to be or do in our lives, we can easily do it in an erratic nor not constant way. But for doing it time after time, that takes courage. So yeah, hope you found this interesting and useful in some way. If so, give me a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. If you wish to receive notifications, also select the bell. And see you soon, hopefully, and take care and stay safe. Bye.